Yo, what's up guys? I hope you're all doing well. So after that PowerPoint presentation and a mountain of evidence, I have found myself with the, I'll say, unassisted jet world record, and that is meaning the jet world record without using any form of cheats. I went 81-0 in this game, which just edged out Von's previous record by 1 kill, so I'm grateful I did manage to secure that one. And this is now the jet world record. It's not necessarily unbeatable. I think this will definitely get surpassed, and I hope to be the one that does surpass it, along with some other players as well. It'd be cool to see that happen. But this is where it stands right now. So today we're going to be going over this game, what I do well in this game, and potentially where I can improve a few things, because I do believe that I can come for the assisted world record. So using cheats, I believe the highest done was obviously by that player, 100-0. I did get very close to having the right game to do it a few times, so I do believe it is possible, and we just got to get a bit better. But for now, this is the record, and we'll just go over what works and what doesn't. So even in that pass strafe there, my aim wasn't really perfect, but just bursting my shots and being patient with it really did allow me to get a lot more bullets downrange so I could get those kills. And right now, just checking for a vehicle with the AGMs, but I see some easier kills up on the tower. Your main thing to kill with this is like air vehicles first, because they can chase you anywhere and they're pretty much your biggest threats. And then if you can, just try to kill infantry. Sometimes a wildcat will need addressing and you'll have to go kill the AA or something like that, but for the most part, I just try to kill infantry with it, and that's what I find the most fun. So moving in here, we got a jet. I'm being hacked right now, so I'm just gonna fly away from the hack and put my afterburner on and really create some distance. The jet really succeeds against RAL players a lot. It's pretty hard to actually get yourself hacked in the jet just because of how fast it is. So we go in, get that kill, flare, and head back out. Now next thing is the transport helicopter. I like to get a head start on these when I can, but I do see the attack helicopter spawns in, and the attack heli is an easier thing to kill. We can kill it quicker, so we'll get that done in one strafe, and then we'll come up behind the transport helicopter. And if you're slow enough, you can kill it in one strafe, but I'm just going to try to kill some infantry first because I have the option to. And there's a nice little two-piece there. The aim is starting to heat up a bit. I don't have quite enough time to get my guns on the transport, so I decide to dodge it. Not really worth ramming it there and getting 5 kills, but dying. I see a tank on low health. I'll take the free kill if I can. He must have an APS or something up, so don't get that. But he is low enough where the next strafe will kill him if I want to. And when there's a ground vehicle that I think most likely is going to die regardless, like this tank, I will usually try to kill them. But the guy hops out, so I kill the repairman anyway. Coming back in, just trying to keep pressure on this tank. Kill the repairman where I can. And I'm probably not going to put too much more time into him. Maybe one more AGM, but he's proven that he has a dedicated repairman on him. And that's just going to out-repair any damage I can possibly do. Even if I keep killing that guy, he can just keep respawning, and I'm not going to get the kill, so end up leaving that alone, and I start setting up for a strafe, most likely onto their spawn hill. So pulling up, I get a call that the attack heli is up, but I think Maze is referring to his own attack helicopter. Calls it the big scene. So we just go in for another strafe. Pull up on this jet here. I don't really have any good jet competition in this server, and honestly, in public matches, the jets are usually pretty much easy to handle. Unless they have radar missiles, that's the one exemption where a jet can really give you some troubles. If they sneak you with the radar missiles, that can be the end of your life, but in a dogfight, usually we do alright, so I don't get too scared of jets. I just try to get them out because they're quick kills. One of the quickest things to kill in the jet is another jet, if you know what you're doing. One of the hardest things to kill though is definitely the Nightbird. I really struggle to kill them. They're just so small and maneuverable, so I don't really spend too much time trying to kill them most of the time. But if they don't expect a strafe, sometimes you can just kill them so quick that they can't react. I did consider slowing right down and stalling and killing him, but I didn't think it was a safe choice, so I decided not to. Check for the infantry on the dead Nightbird, no one's there. And we will look at setting up another strafe on this transport. He should be pretty low. That's light work for the 25 mils. The transport helis are a really good thing just to kill. Firstly, your teammates benefit from it so much. Especially playing the US team, you have to deal with the Hind. So being someone that can get rid of the hinds, your infantrymen will thank you for that one. Quick little two-piece strafe on some infantry. They just kind of lined up nicely in my crosshairs there. And a lot of people do often ask about my jet keybinds, and just kind of just made me think about it for some reason. I play almost default keybinds. I bind W to afterburner, so to max out my speed, I just hold W, space to pitch up, control to pitch down, and from there it's mostly default. I don't do anything crazy like I do with the helis. The helis I use a totally different control scheme, and I don't find it really messes with me that much, so that's all good. In that situation, I was just too slow on picking a target. I should have just locked in on one of the targets that had no cover, but for some reason I just kept on looking for the easiest one. Do see the jet in my peripheral vision, but he's going to end up in front of me anyway, unless he turns, which he probably won't. So we get 2 infantry kills. Pretty lucky situation to get 2 there. Keep pushing along. Now in this situation, it's probably not the smartest thing to stall out in front of a tank where they can easily shell you, but I'm starting to realize the potential of this match, so I'm pushing as hard as I can. And when you go for record games, you do have to play a bit more risky. You can't just play the safest style possible. In a jet, if you play totally safe, you're probably going to end up with about 40 to 50 kills every time. And that's just not what we're after here. The jet is also a vehicle where, despite the videos you see, you guys see the absolute highlights of what I've been able to do in the jet so far. But trust me, on a game-to-game, day-to-day basis, we are not hitting these kind of games every day. The jet is hard countered by a single player playing Liz, for example. If anyone is in the jet on the other team going for a record match, I would be able to play Liz and completely shut that down from happening, just as one player. You can do the same with the recoils with a bit of skill. The rail tank really deals with it well, and also the AA is quite effective against it. And none of these really require a crazy amount of effort just to be an absolute pain for the jet. So for that reason, I do kind of say that for games like this, I do need a lobby where the people are just not very clued on to what I'm doing. For the lobbies where you do have a lot more heat and more people focusing you, I have found that the Nightbird is probably the best thing you can do as a solo player. If you got a squad of players, nothing can really deal with the Hind, but just as one player, the Nightbird tends to be the most adaptable thing I've found in the game. So it's one of those situations where it definitely pays off to learn a few different vehicles, pick up a few different playstyles, and it just tends to be a lot more enjoyable. Just flying jets alone and getting into it has definitely reignited the fun I'm having on this game. And I'm sure when I get bored of jets eventually, I'll pick something else up, or DICE will add another vehicle maybe. And that's kind of how I've managed to find fun in Battlefield games for so long. So if you are getting bored of things, it is always kind of fun just to stick with something and trust the learning process. It's funny, in the chat right now, I see the message from Miss Dorothy saying not to get greedy. And he's actually witnessed so many like really decent games just get ruined by me crashing into the ground after going for a second infantry target or a third. And it's just one of those situations in the jet where you really do have to train yourself not to overextend every time. If you end up overextending in the jet, you just got no chance of surviving. Sometimes in previous Battlefield games, when you'd hit the ground and you pull up, you'd be alright. In this game, if you hit the ground, it's going to send the nose into the ground about 5 times harder, and your jet is completely gone. The only thing you can do is hold down S, and sometimes you'll survive, but for the most part, that does not work. I just seen on my radar there is a transport heli, but I just don't really need to be going for him quite yet. Especially with a transport helicopter, like, if it is in your way, in your crosshairs, it is nice to go for it straight away, but if you let it just cook for a little bit, just let it cook up, it might get 5 people in it. And then if you kill it with 5, that's a very, very easy 5-piece. It's not very hard to get transport heli kills once you get good with the jets, unless it is a good transport helicopter, and in that case, I would recommend to Alt F4. Now in that situation, that's something that I've just learnt not to get greedy there. The old me would have probably went for a second and crashed the jet, so there's always another strafe, and once you get into a good flow state, you really shouldn't have to be making these insanely close passes. But at the same time, learning to get close to the ground and be comfortable with it is definitely a skill that I intentionally tried to develop, and developing that did involve crashing a few jets. Definitely should have just got that kill there, by the way. That was bit of a fail on the aim perspective. Now, one of the next really important things that I'd say I do really well in this gameplay is trying to hit my first shots with the cannons rather than hitting a shot at the end of the burst. That second kill right there was pretty much ideal in terms of hitting as soon as I started shooting. And if you want to kill infantry fast, this is the exact way to do it. I've had kills on very good infantry players, and just by hitting my first few bullets, they get one-framed and they have zero chance to react. Now, if I shoot at that same player and let my miniguns just ring out a bit and waste a lot of ammo, they're going to start jumping and doing all sorts of movement tech. Even they might heal themselves or get to cover. That's exactly what they're going to do if you don't hit your first few shots. So, while it's especially important against good players, it's a good habit to do against everyone. That tip also definitely applies to the Nightbird, and I actually learnt it from Reaps back in Battlefield 4. He said the most important thing when you're shooting infantry is first shot accuracy. You hit your first burst, you line it up before you click, and you'll do a lot better because of it. And that definitely applies to these jets, especially with how hard it is to aim them. Next thing is as well approach angle on your strafes. So I tend to try to strafe from like 30 degrees or even just a little bit below. I find going much higher, it makes the target profile too small. You only just see their head and they're really small and hard to hit. If you go a lot lower, then you are going to get to see their whole body and they are quite easy to hit. But at the same time, it's not really necessary to make it that easy. It doesn't really help me that much. And it exposes me to too many threats and it just becomes a bit awkward. So around 30 to 20 degrees probably on the strafes is what seems to be quite good. You can also play around with where you approach from on your strafes as well. And try to just get into a bit of a flow, like enjoy flying the jet, fly around to different locations, start your strafes from different spots whenever you can. I've had gameplays on different maps where I'm flying super aggressively, coming in with and without flares sometimes. And just by always attacking from a different location and keeping things quick, you can really keep the enemy guessing. Now, in this match in particular, the enemy are not really focusing me much at all, and that definitely plays into my hands a lot, and that's why this match has been a world record. I did still hit this match on stream though, so usually I do have some people targeting me, just coming in and trying to watch my stream and kill me. So it was not an offline game. Looks like our transport helicopter is waiting in their spawn. If he is, that's a very devastating thing to deal with, but it looks like he's leaving. And that strafe was absolutely pushing it. I think at this moment I kind of checked myself a little bit and thought, you know, you're on a good game here. Don't push it too hard. Just do what you have to do to get the record. That kill was a bit of a mix between good first shot accuracy, but then terrible second and third shot accuracy. So I hit the first bullet, but then I just kind of left a beam of miniguns in front of him for him to run into it. And that is a strategy that can work sometimes, but I would definitely recommend trying to get the jet aim to drift with the player and time your shots with the drift. Bit of visual glitching there, that's 2042 for you. And after seeing this gameplay, I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think the jets still need a buff, or... They don't need a nerf, I'll tell you that much. They definitely don't need a nerf, but where are you guys at with the jets? Do you guys find them useful or not? Because I've kind of only really started getting into them and enjoying them so much because they were so hard to me. I was really struggling to get anything out of them, and the only player I saw that could do it was a cheater, so... Really enjoyed getting the hang of it, but I swear, whenever I play jet gameplay, people say that it's an overpowered jet or whatever, and I can't really agree. I don't think it's very strong. But that is just my opinion. Maybe it's very biased. I think a reason why the jet gets screwed so much as well is because a lot of the anti-air encounters is kind of balanced so that it's good enough to kill, let's say, like the Nightbird or the transport helicopter, but the balance between all the vehicles isn't really even. Like, the Nightbird is better than the other attack helicopters. The transport helicopter is better than everything. So while the counters, let's say the Wildcat is pretty strong against the Nightbird, but it's not amazing, because it's balanced to be on par with something that's so solid, when something isn't that good, like the Jet, it does just kind of get left behind. And it's the same with recoillesses, for example. They are so fast so that they can keep up with the Nightbird's movement speed. But when you aim them at something that's moving in a straight line like a Jet, I've got friends who can hit me almost every single time with the Jets. It's pretty insane. Same with Liz as well. You can make this argument about everything. Just things are balanced to kill the strongest thing, so whenever everything else isn't on par, that's when balance issues start to come up. But for the most part, I still enjoy flying jets, and I don't think they're too bad. Just take some time to get used to. A rework would still be great though. I mean, they are very frustrating to fly, even for someone who's synced probably over 1,000 hours into flying among Battlefield games. Now, I see an attack helicopter pushing squad mate, and unfortunately, he does get killed there, and I couldn't kill him in time. And just before I managed to kill him, the game does wrap up. We end up getting 81 kills in about 23 minutes, and that is the record just by 1 kill beating out Von Rum. Shout out to him, he's a really great pilot as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.